Few people know that the snake plant, arguably the most popular houseplant in the world, is far from what it appears to be. For decades, marketers have cultivated an aura around it as the perfect companion for the lazy. We've been led to believe it could survive in a shoebox, marketed as the ultimate savior for those who can't even keep a plastic plant alive. Yet, it is this very half-truth that leads to thousands of silent deaths in our homes every year. In this video, I'm going to reveal the secrets about this plant that sellers keep quiet. I'll explain why this style icon might become your biggest disappointment if you aren't prepared for its specific biology and stoic nature, which has nothing to do with conventional gardening. This is a video about the reasons why you, personally, should think twice before buying a snake plant. If you tend toward overprotectiveness in your relationships with people or pets, the so-called helicopter parenting, then the snake plant will become your ultimate gardening tragedy. The root of the problem lies in biology. This plant utilizes a specific metabolic pathway, CAM photosynthesis, crassulacean acid metabolism. Unlike most of your green charges, it breathes and opens its stomata only at night to minimize moisture loss in the arid regions of Africa. During the day, it is literally locked tight. It doesn't drink water at the pace you're accustomed to. If you enjoy starting your morning with a cup of coffee and perking up your plants with an extra glass of water, you are committing slow-motion murder. To a snake plant, your care is poison. Over the course of evolution, its roots have learned to seek out rare droplets of moisture in the sand. They are covered in a delicate protective layer that breaks down in conditions of constant dampness. In a standard flower pot, overwatering causes water to displace oxygen. Without it, the roots begin to rot at a catastrophic speed, a process that becomes irreversible in just 48 hours. The plant is literally suffocating in your love. My main advice: if you want it to survive, you must learn the art of professional neglect. Forget the once-a-week schedule. Use the chopstick test. Push a wooden chopstick all the way to the bottom of the pot. If there's even a hint of damp soil on it, forget the watering can for another week. This plant is an introvert that doesn't need your hugs. In the US and Europe, home safety is a top priority, and here the snake plant plays the role of a double agent. Despite its architectural and clean aesthetic, it is officially classified as a moderately toxic plant. Saponins are hidden within its sword-like leaves. In the wild, this is a brilliant defense mechanism. These chemical compounds act as a natural fungicide and insecticide, deterring anyone who might decide to snack on them. But for your cat or dog, this becomes a serious problem. When they come into contact with mucous membranes, saponins create an effect similar to that of a strong detergent. If your pet decides to taste a crunchy leaf, the consequences will be frightening: excessive drooling, swelling of the throat, vomiting, and diarrhea. Why is this particularly important for the snake plant? Because of its form. Unlike ferns or vines that we hang in planters near the ceiling, the heavy pots used for Sansevieria are most often placed on the floor, directly within reach of curious noses. Cats are attracted to the tough, vertical texture of the leaf, which is pleasant for rubbing their teeth against. If you cannot guarantee that your pet is a model of discipline, this plant will become a source of eternal stress and veterinary bills. In that case, you're better off looking at a spider plant or calatheus. They are much friendlier to your four-legged friends. The low-light plant label is the most successful and at the same time the most deceptive marketing trick used by big box stores. Yes, the snake plant is extremely hardy, but it is vital to understand the difference between surviving and thriving. When you place it in a dark corner of a hallway or a windowless bathroom, you are forcing it into a state of deep stagnation. It's like trying to live on 5% phone battery in ultra power saving mode. The science is simple. No light means no energy for photosynthesis. In the shade, the plant stops growing entirely. But the most disappointing part for the owner is the loss of its beauty. Those legendary yellow and silver stripes on the leaves, variegation, are the result of chloroplasts working under good lighting. In the dark, the plant begins to produce excess chlorophyll in a panic to catch even a single stray photon. As a result, your expensive variegated plant turns into a common, boring, dark green bush. Furthermore, a process called etiolation begins. New leaves, if they appear at all, will grow thin, long, and weak. They won't be able to support their own weight and will start to flop over untidily, resembling a bunch of wilted grass rather than a proud weapon in your interior design. If you want to see that Instagram-worthy look, forget about the corners. Its ideal spot is bright, indirect light where it can showcase the full power of its geometry. The snake plant has a unique anatomical feature that store consultants never warn you about. Each of its leaves is crowned with a sharp, needle-like tip. This isn't just a decorative element, it is the apical meristem, the single point responsible for the leaf's vertical growth. This is where the tragedy begins for a perfectionist. If you accidentally snag the tip with a vacuum cleaner, if a child snaps it off while playing, or if you damage it in the car on the way home from the store, the growth of that specific leaf stops forever. It won't heal the wound, nor will it send out a new shoot from the top. It will stay green and live for years, but it will permanently retain that awkward, truncated look. Imagine a living sculpture of vertical lines in your room, and one of them suddenly cuts off mid-air. It is visual noise that cannot be fixed. Unlike a ficus or a monstera, which can be pruned to encourage branching, a Sansevieria does not respond to such correction. The only way to restore the plant's perfect appearance is to cut the damaged leaf off entirely at the base. And considering how slowly it grows in a typical apartment, recovering that lost volume can take a couple of years. If your home is a zone of high activity, children, and domestic chaos, your snake plant will very quickly turn into a battered wreck with mangled peaks. If you live in New York, London, Toronto, or any other city where winter isn't just a date on the calendar, but a genuine ordeal, your snake plant is in a high-risk group. We often forget that this plant is a native of tropical West Africa. In Nigeria or Congo, it never encountered the concept of a window draft. For this succulent, temperatures below 55 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit are not just a discomfort, they are a signal to halt all vital processes. The physics of the tragedy is simple. At low temperatures, the plant's metabolism freezes, but the worst happens when cold meets moisture. If you blast the room with icy air on a freezing evening while the soil is even slightly damp, you are creating a lethal cocktail. The water in the substrate cools faster than the air, turning into an icy mass that literally ruptures the root cells. Unlike the deciduous trees of your region, which know how to recover from frostbite, the snake plant lacks tissue regeneration mechanisms. You will find out about the disaster too late. The leaves will become watery, take on a grayish tint, and begin turning into a soft mush. This process is known as cold rot of the rhizome. It is impossible to fix. In a single freezing night, a designer interior element turns into organic waste. If your windowsill is a battleground for drafts, you're better off choosing something more adapted to northern latitudes. The snake plant is a plant for those prepared to live with the past. In the world of indoor jungles, there are species that forgive your mistakes. If your cat nibbles a monstera leaf or you accidentally give a ficus a sunburn, the plant will simply shed the damaged organ in a couple of months and grow a new one, even more beautiful than before. That trick won't work with a Sansevieria. Here, we are dealing with one-shot aesthetics. Each leaf is an architectural object that grows incredibly slowly. If you snag it with a bag, scratch it while moving, or your pet leaves a few tooth marks on it, those scars are staying with you for the next 5 to 10 years. The plant doesn't know how to heal wounds with new green tissue. It simply dries out the edges of the damage, turning it into a brown spot that will be a daily eyesore. This makes the snake plant the worst choice for perfectionists or owners of small apartments with narrow hallways. Any carelessness turns an expensive, sculptural bush into a battle-worn plant that cannot be patched up. The only radical fix is to cut the leaf at the base, but then you compromise the density of the arrangement. If you aren't ready for every accident to become an eternal monument to your carelessness, get something fast-growing like a pothos or a philodendron, which will hide any defects under a mass of new foliage within a month. For a beginner grower, the most important thing is having a dialogue with the plant. But the snake plant is the worst teacher because it is pathologically secretive. Botany has its drama queens, like the peace lily. If you forget to water it, it theatrically drops all its leaves in a matter of hours, literally screaming, "Give me water!" You water it, and an hour later, it's perky again. That is clear feedback. The snake plant is a silent stoic. If you overwater it and its roots turn into rotten mush, it won't show it outwardly at all. It will stand just as green, proud, and vertical for another week or two. This creates a dangerous illusion of success for the novice. Oh, I water it every day and it looks great. The psychological blow comes suddenly. One fine day, you'll decide to dust it, lightly touch the plant, and it will simply fall out of the pot into your hands. Or the entire bush will suddenly fold in half at the base, revealing a brown, slimy mess where the roots should have been. It doesn't have an "I'm struggling" stage. It only has "I'm fine" and "I'm a corpse." This is its most demotivating trait. You only find out about your mistake when it's far too late to fix anything. Despite everything mentioned above, the snake plant remains a favorite in global design. However, for it to be a joy to look at rather than a source of trouble, you must accept its rules of engagement. The main secret to success is management through neglect. Use a specialized cactus soil mix with plenty of sand and perlite, choose terracotta pots that allow the roots to breathe, and forget the watering can until the soil has turned to bone-dry dust. Neglect is the greatest gift you can give it. An interesting fact for botany enthusiasts, as of 2017, our protagonist is officially no longer a Sansevieria. Scientists conducted genetic analysis and discovered it is so closely related to Dracaenas that it was officially reclassified into the genus Dracaena. So technically, you are growing a very strange and hardy Dracaena. Snake plants are often purchased for air purification, citing the famous NASA studies. It's important to be a realist here. Yes, it is capable of absorbing benzene and formaldehyde at night, but to actually notice a difference in air quality in a typical apartment, you would have to turn your room into an impenetrable jungle of hundreds of pots. A single plant on a shelf is more of a placebo than a high-powered filter. The final verdict. This plant is the ideal companion for perpetually busy professionals, avid travelers who are away from home for months at a time, and dedicated minimalists who value architectural form over flowery coziness. It fits perfectly into the life of someone who has no time for gardening but wants a living, sculptural object in their interior. However, if you are looking for a green friend that will respond to your care, grow quickly, and forgive your mistakes, you're better off buying a fern or a peace lily. At least they will honestly scream about their problems. Leave the snake plant to those who appreciate silence, distance, and rugged African endurance. Ultimately, it's the perfect neighbor for a sociopath. It demands no attention, makes no noise, and looks flawless as long as you leave it alone. Dear friends, do you have this plant in your collection? If so, what challenges have you faced and how did you manage to solve them? Please let me know in the comments. Let's help each other avoid mistakes. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Your support helps me tremendously. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next interesting video.